to Polymer Clay TV. I'm Elisa, and today I want to show you a cool layering technique. It's very simple. I've done a few here to show you. I use pan pastel with this, and they're a little applicator. You can buy these. You can buy these little sponges. They come right off, and they're really handy to have. So let me start on this side. This one here is the Blooming Buds Silkscreen. And this is what it looks like. So you can see it has the flowers in it, and I've gone ahead and silkscreened this onto my clay, and I used the it's the peacock color. And once I did that, I've added some punchinella to make layers. And I've done that with these other ones, and I'll show you in a second how I did it. This one here is the Nouveau Roses, and it has the punchinella on top of it as well. And this one was the Urchin Silkscreen, and then I added a couple different powdered pigments and pan pastels, and kind of just went a little crazy to get a lot of different looks. So as we go, you'll see you can mix and match, you can change colors, you can do whatever you want. Once you have this technique, it's very simple, and you know, really looks cool. So let me move these aside. If you haven't worked with pan pastels, they come in these solid bricks. This is how they come, and it's a brick. And if you overuse them or drop them or whatever, they can break on you. And that's what this one is. This is the copper, and it's broken in pieces. It's 100% usable. There is a tip that I can give you that if you want to get it to go back together, you can spritz some alcohol in there, and that will help to do that. I don't really care, so I didn't even bother. So this is the copper, this is the silver. And just so you know, well, obviously you can see the difference in the colors. Okay, so this is the Nouveau Rose, and I've already gone ahead and silk screened it. You have to wait until the paint is dried. I used a white acrylic paint by Basics, which is by Liquitex. That's what I ended up using on this one. But you can use whatever paint works for you. And then I just chose, for this one I used the plain circles. That's what I did on this one here. But as you can see, the punchinella comes in all different, you know, designs. And how I start to design this, what I did was, I took my silk screen and I put it in front of me, and I started taking the different punchinellas and putting it over it on this lighter side so I can see, kind of get an idea of what it would look like. Because there are so many different punchinellas, you're going to get a totally different look. Say, look at how big this one is. You're only going to see parts of it, but you know, you're going to get a completely different look. So the idea is to play around and find something you really like, or you think is going to look really good with it. And I really just went with the plain ones. This flower would be really cool. But I'll just go ahead with what I used on this one just to show you. And you just place this on top of your silk screen again once it's dried. And then I always like to give it a little roll with my rolling pin, because I want to make sure that it's nicely adhered to the clay, because if it's not, it'll pop up and you can end up distorting your design. So I just get a little, and I just start to, in a circular motion, kind of put it on there. I mean, it's really that simple. And it's going to cover the design, but when you pull it up, the parts that of the circle that are covering the design will then show through. And it's obviously, in this design, is a lot less than the overall design, but it gives it such a cool look. Now you can use multiple colors. You don't have to just go with one. You don't have to go with metallic. You can do whatever you want. You can use powdered pigments to do this. I'm using the pan pastels because the pan pastels go on real easy, and I didn't want to have to deal with, you know, not being able to touch it as much, because if I used ink or something, it stays wet. And with the pan pastels, you can touch it, and it's not going to really, I mean, obviously you don't want to smear it, but it's pretty forgiving. So as simple as that, and then you just peel it back, and then you've got this fabulous design. How cool is that? So, like I said, there's so many different designs. Go see what you like. You can use other things too. Anything that's a stencil, you could literally use over. Now, okay, so if I wanted to go another step and get a whole new look, I could go ahead and add something else on there. So real quick, while we're at it, let's do that. So you can see that you can keep going. I mean, I wouldn't want to add 50 layers to it, but you could certainly add multiple layers, you know, because after a while, you probably wouldn't see much. Now, since this is, let's do it with the silver color and see. I mean, it's light. You may not see it as much. You may not see the difference as much, but let's see what happens. That's all you can do is experiment. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's how I find out about all these things. I just play and experiment with it. But I guarantee you'll get a really different look. This probably will just lighten it a little, but it's also gonna leave behind the egg look. So let's see what this looks like. I mean, I haven't tried this one yet, but I'm sure it's gonna be really cool. So it goes on pretty fast. And then you just peel it back. So look at that. So now we're talking, we've got multiple dimensions in there. Looks really cool. And then you can cut it apart, do whatever you want, make pendants, make bracelets, anything. You know, the sky's the limit, as I always say. So think about how you can use, you know, different stencils to layer on top of your silk screens and have fun with it. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.